Like a wheel. Oh, it's almost time to start, but these are some of my favorite songs. All right. It is 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on May the 14th of 2020. We are 8 weeks into all of our sequestering, approximately. And happy to be in another one of our installments for the panel discussion, having a happy hour, an opportunity to have a beer or two or another drink, whatever your choice may be, and spend a little bit of time with us at PTP and today, our guests from Cisco. So again, thanks everybody for taking some time to spend the afternoon with us, and we'll go ahead and just get into it this afternoon. So today, I get the opportunity to be the moderator again. That's the easy job. I get to ask some questions of some smart people that have subject matter expertise in the space of what we're talking about today. So obviously we're talking about working better, faster, smarter, more efficient, really collaborating with the tools that are available to us, specifically from Cisco and the WebEx tools, and really excited about this kind of new bundling that Cisco has brought to market, which is really going to allow an enterprise set of tools to be bundled and priced at more of a commercial level, and we'll get into the details of what that means, the advantages to organizations that are consumers, et cetera. So joined today by Ethan Simmons, our managing partner, and Hong Pun, who is one of our senior engineers focusing on collaboration network and cloud. He does a little bit of everything and does everything well. So excited that both Ethan and Hong are with us, and then really excited that Todd Wilson from Cisco would be able to join us this afternoon. I'll let each one of those guys, if they wouldn't mind, just give a little 15, 30-second intro on yourself and background on what you do, and then maybe when you get started, if you care to, what you might be drinking. And I'll go ahead and start that off before I kick it to you. So I'm having what's called a Deep Ellum IPA. So Deep Ellum, I live in Dallas, Texas, and down off of downtown Dallas is an area of town called Deep Ellum. Really cool area for bars, restaurants, nightlife, et cetera. Obviously, that's an area of town that's really suffering right now. So certainly want to be able to represent at least the brewery part of Deep Ellum and enjoy a pretty big, bold IPA this afternoon while we talk collaboration. So that's what I'm doing. Ethan?
Sure. So I guess I'll start off with the beer since that's more interesting than my story. So I've got a Cloud Candy from Mighty Squirrel Brewing in Waltham, Massachusetts, so right outside of Boston. This is their double dry hop New England style pale ale, so I'll enjoy this.
Nice.
And then, are we doing intros? Yes, we
Sure.
do intros. Sure.
Well.
So Ethan Simmons with PTP, managing partner. Do a little bit of everything, manage a little bit of everything, try to help out where I can with sales and engineering. But we've put together a really great team. We work very closely with Cisco and with our other cloud partners. And my story about collaboration has had a Cisco collaboration partner years ago. We started it with a couple other guys back in like '97. Ended up selling it to another Cisco partner, and at that time I said I'll never sell phones again, but somehow I keep on getting sucked back in, so I'm selling phones again. But always been a long-time Cisco partner, and I've seen WebEx mature and change over the years. And I think what we're going to talk about today, was really interesting for me. We're finally, well, I say finally, where now there's a easy-to-consume cloud-first option if you're a Cisco customer, and we're seeing a lot of Cisco customers that have old CMEs or UC500s out there. And this is a great option to take a look at it as you look to stay within the Cisco family, but move to a new platform with new features and new functionality, especially while you're trying to work from home and enable your mobile workers.
Awesome, good stuff. Hong, how about you?
I'll do the same setup where by chance I got my beer from Mighty Squirrel as well. Because close to where
someone else has it.
Yeah, it's close to where I live and where Ethan lives too. So I know it's kind of warm for this. It's their Indulge series, cookies and cream. It's pretty cool. It's a imperial stout. I mean, it's chilly in here, where I sit, so I'm okay drinking this. But me, my name's Hong Pan. I work in the PTP. Do a little bit of everything as well. Not managing partner, but
you can have it if you want.
But I started I would say my career, on Cisco phones. One of first job, the first thing I touch at a company is Cisco phone. I know nothing but. So I seen the transformation, has luckily been using it, deploying it. It's definitely nice to see transformation, but also where Cisco is going, not leaving behind the on-prem stuff for the time being. There's some bridging solutions, which I think is pretty cool.
Great, appreciate it. And Todd, welcome. Glad to have you a part of this afternoon's discussion. How about just an introduction of yourself as well?
Yeah, Gary, appreciate you having me. Thanks. Just to keep in the same vein here, it's kind of tough to follow the cookies and cream beer here, so I'll do my best. I'm a diehard IPA fan as well. In front of me, I have a beer from the Southern Tier Brewing Company, which is down in the Southern Tier of New York State, a little south of Buffalo, quite far south of Buffalo, probably a couple hours, like you're heading towards the border before heading into Pennsylvania. This is a live session, so they have both a live and a live session. So I've been drinking these a long time. It's a good afternoon beer. So that's a little bit about that. I have been with Cisco. It'll be 21 years in December. It is, to I think Hong's point, my very first job out of college, and I also got thrown into the Celsius framework when we bought Celsius in 1999. So I've been around the telephony business and now the collaboration business with Cisco for as long as I could, as long as I could drink a beer, actually. So, legally. So been with the group in a couple of capacities. I was a technical solutions architect in the upstate New York, Connecticut, and Vermont area for almost 20 years. And over the last 9 months, I decided to remove myself out of the technical architect role. And I am now responsible for all of strategy, sales acceleration, and operations of U.S. commercial in collaboration. So I cover 6 areas, the small business, the mid-sized business, and I cover 4 select areas. So all the product sales specialists, all of the technical solutions architects, and all of their direct reports, all their direct leaders, so the regional management, all report up through Mike and I and Tommy, who lead all of U.S. commercial collaboration. And I want to thank PTP, especially Gary, Ethan, and Hong here for having me today.
No, we're excited to have you. So great introductions, guys. And I think with that, well, let's just jump in. I know our attendees are interested in kind of hearing on what we've got to say. So I got this information thanks to the channel team at Cisco, but I wanted to give everybody a visualization on what's changed in the last 3 months in terms of consumption on these conferencing platforms. And this is WebEx data. Again, Charles, if you're out there, thanks for providing this, but you'll see, these are February, March, April 2020, so this is current data. The change in participants, hosts, and meetings, those top, the kind of left 3 are in millions. So we went from 161 million participants in February up to 571 million. So over 3-fold, is my math about right, increase in participants. Hosts a little bit less so you can tell you've got people that have been fairly consistent on the platform, use it, but now that their audiences are much larger, but still growing. The number of meetings and the number of minutes are just staggering. So, I think we can all see it whenever we shift out of those physical meetings, and now everybody's remote like we are this afternoon, working out of their homes, but the need for business isn't stopping. The need to execute on our plans and our strategies, our forecasts, our budgets are all still critical. And so more than ever before, the power in the collaboration tools is really being exercised, taxed to a certain degree, but certainly being exercised. And people, even like me that have been what I would consider, kind of moderate level users, understood how to start and run meetings, and were fairly comfortable in and around the tools, are now kind of getting to that next level and finding some of the new interesting features and functionality that are available that help us connect with one another. So wanted to share that with you as kind of a starting point before we jump into the conversation. And then obviously just kind of another visual to set the table for where the platform that we're talking is. So we know that there's a lot of tools out there, and on Mother's Day last Sunday, I was with, my brothers in Portland and another one's in Houston, and my parents are north of Houston, and we're on a Zoom call for our family because it was a really easy, simple way for us to have a happy Mother's Day to my 80-year-old mother and all her grandchildren. But it's different when we're talking about collaborating as a business. And so I think really what we're going to point out today is, not only is Cisco a leader in just size and mass and consumption, but it's the kind of underlying infrastructure and some of the connectivity and the integration that really, brings forth the power. So wanted to at least just share that with the group as kind of a setup. And now I think we're going to get right into the meat of it and just start having some discussion and some questions, if that's okay with you guys and you're ready to go.
Sounds good.
All right.
Perfect.
So let me start off, Todd, I'm going to go to you first, and just maybe we can start at kind of a high level. But, I think, probably all of our attendees, maybe not, if not all, most all, have used and are familiar with WebEx and have been on conferences or meetings and calls like this, and familiar with, obviously, the various tools. Can you just kind of start off by describing to us the new Webex Work Bundle, what it is, how it came to be, and really kind of what it's meant to do in the marketplace?
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that. So about 9 months ago, there was a group of individuals inside of Cisco. I was included in that team where we kind of sat back and looked at the market, obviously, as it stood then. We didn't know at the time as to how important this bundle was, given where we are today, of course. So there was a little bit of some forward thinking, I'm sure, that comes out of that. But we kind of took a clean slate approach at the market in general. We knew that Cisco was not the cheapest guy in the block. We knew that our offers could be fairly complex depending on what you have in your environment. We had everything from on-premise offers to hybrid offers to cloud-first offers. But what we never really had in our portfolio is a targeted, what I'd call mid-size to small Webex Work Bundle that was architected in such a way, and I'll try to draw an analogy here, which I think will resonate well with most everyone, is if you got to think of it like your electric bill. So today, if you jack your temperature up in your house, you're paying for the drip. You're paying by the drip. So if you tend to live in a house that's much warmer, obviously you're going to pay for the furnace kicking on throughout the given month. And then if you jack your temperature down, you pay less money, and maybe even move towards a lower bill that you get each month. And that is what we call a utility offer. So what we did is we took a clean slate approach to our offers, and we built A-Work, which is really the high-level SKU of what we define as the Webex Work Bundle. That A-Work SKU is brand new. It just launched April 29th. So we're just in the very first couple of weeks of launching to our partner community as well as our customers. The idea behind this commercial offer is a single threaded platform that offers three main pieces to our business: calling, meetings, and messaging. So this is an opportunity to deliver basically a cloud-first, cloud-only platform to our customers at a more reasonable entry price than we've ever had before. So the idea is it's targeted at the sub 1,000 space. Does it work for more than 1,000 seats? Sure. And we're not going to create, complexities around that. But it is targeted towards, as far as the offer is concerned, as a named user offer to the sub 1,000 space. Very, very cool technology that's built under the framework of this. Most of what you guys would know already being meetings, which is our meeting center product, our calling, our Webex Calling product, and then of course our Webex Teams product. So again, it's based on committed and uncommitted use, and we'll get into some of that, I think, a little bit later.
Great. And maybe just on a follow-on on that. So obviously this bundle, if you either have existing Cisco infrastructure or don't, it'll be able to map somehow to you. Is that accurate in some form or fashion?
Yeah, that's a very accurate statement. So this particular bundle that we're pulling together for the mid-size, small space has absolutely no dependencies on being a Cisco customer today whatsoever. In fact, the entire bundle and the entire offering, both meetings and calling specifically, and then of course Webex Teams is managed under a single pane of glass, all cloud first, cloud ready, cloud mobile, and designed to support any greenfield opportunities that we might face in the industry.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so Ethan, I think I'll come to you with this next question. So you mentioned a long tenure working with collaboration right around the obviously turn of the century. We're all getting old. I'm right there with you. So based on your experience, all those phone systems, all the meeting, all the collaboration stuff that you've dealt with, how do you see this translating, like the new bundle translating to customer value with the new Webex integrated bundle? So Todd kind of mentioned the capabilities and the features and functionality, but based on kind of where we've been and what we've seen in the industry from collaboration, how do you think customers are going to be able to benefit from this?
Yeah, I think the obvious one is that you're able to get, I think what people perceive as, or maybe it is too, but as the industry leader, the best product out there, maybe sometimes perceived as the expensive product out there. And a lot of people, as we were doing some marketing for this event, and I'm looking through Twitter feeds, and people are like, oh, I wish I could afford Webex, or I want to go do something else because Webex is too expensive, kind of thing. So I think there's, part of that is that people are going to start to realize that this is made for that marketplace. So I think Cisco's has always been known as that enterprise leader, and products are made for the enterprise. And sometimes I think it does hurt Cisco, where that's how they're perceived all the time. They're not always known for Meraki and some of the other products that are really built for small and medium businesses. So I think this brings a high level of communication, calling, conferencing capabilities to a 4 or 5 person company to like Todd said, 1,000 person company. So really able to bring the productivity and the value of the solution down to organizations of pretty much any size. So it's nice to be able to offer that, where you're not saying, oh, well, we have a solution, but it's you're too small for it, or something like that. We're able to actually position that well across all of our customers, not just our large customers.
That's great. Similar, kind of along the same vein of what I asked Todd just a minute ago, but Hung, this is kind of coming to you. So, as a consultant, as an engineer that's building systems, as somebody that's out in front of customers talking about, where the technology is going, what they have in place today. So, you still talk with, on a day-to-day basis, a big install base of on-prem Cisco. We talked, I heard the term Celsius, the kind of the original call manager as Cisco made that acquisition. I know people from Celsius, so it's been a long time, I think, for all of us. But So still a significant install base of some of that legacy, call manager and unified communications technology. So, how does this help, this solution, these solutions, these bundles, just Cisco's overall mapping in terms of collaboration and the integration of those tools? How does that help protect our customers' investments as they're looking forward to these cloud-based systems? Let me unmute you. Happens once every meeting.
Yeah, no, like I said, in the intro, I think, Cisco does a pretty good job with offering and bridging these on-prem systems that these customers have, trying to protect, the existing on-prem solution while they, dip their toes into the cloud, right? So, for example, to be a little bit more technical, if your business is using Jabber first, that's running on premise, you can easily switch that up and use WebEx Teams as a messaging backend. That's great because your user has a seamless, experience, with the front end, while your business is, has taking the benefits of the cloud in the back end, right? And for those customers that might already be on a hybrid setup per se, there's other solution like WebEx Edge that, kind of best of both worlds, where you're running, the conferencing on the cloud, on-premise, keeping that investment of on-premise for calling. So, that's another solution that they offer that I think that, that definitely helps protect the investment. And I think for some of the customers, the investment is not just in the technology, right? It's also in the people, the team that manages the system day to day. There's also, the cloud solution of UCM Cloud that is pretty much a call manager or communications manager, let me correct myself, in the cloud, running on the WebEx cloud infrastructure. So, your team doesn't have to go through a huge learning curve trying to migrate to the cloud, but your company's, already benefiting from using the cloud.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I can't tell you how many times in different technologies, it's not collaboration specific, but I'm X number of years into a certain amount of depreciation or spend, and I want to start to get the benefit of some of the new technologies, but I'm still sitting on this, what's my migration plan look like? And I think that's part of what we're seeing today is a really good kind of future state plan from a cloud-enabled set of collaboration tools. So, no, I appreciate that. Going back to some of the bundles, just so we make sure that we've got clarity kind of for our audience, Todd. So we talked about the 3 core components, but I've looked into some of the detail. I know that there's some, so there's some optional add-ons and things of that nature that people can kind of pick and choose on their own if it applies to the business. Can you talk about just what some of those options might be that, and any in particular that you see people that are taking advantage of that make a lot of sense?
Yeah, that's a great question, and let me just kind of restate what the bundle is first, and then I will talk about some of the add-ons that we allow for customization and other unique corner cases that some of our customers have and have had for a long time. So what the bundle is it's wrapped around 3 of our cloud products: the Webex Calling product, which is generally over the top, or some sort of PSTN integration-based cloud calling product that is managed via the Webex Control Hub. Our Webex Meetings product, obviously one of them being that we're on today here with the Event Center, but our Webex Meetings product specifically in this bundle is Meeting Center 1000 only. It does not have Event Center, Training Center, or Support Center in the offering today. And then, of course, the Webex Teams product, and that is, as you heard Hong talk about that either allows for the new Webex Teams Skin, which is the unified app that is laid on top of desktops and mobile devices today, or that's leveraging perhaps you know, messaging backends with existing Jabber interfaces that might seamlessly be used by your end users as you move from maybe prem to hybrid to cloud. So in that bundle, we also allow for the following things to be included at no charge. We allow unlimited storage. That storage is used for messaging and for recordings and other types of WebEx meetings, meeting data. We allow for toll call-in, which is generally, it's right around 70 countries worldwide. So you'll be able to do toll call-in as well as what we call IP audio or VoIP, as you guys know. And if you're leveraging a partner that can use what we call Cisco Cloud Connected Audio, that in this case would be also supplied. So when you look at that as the bundle, that is going to be for a per user per month price. For what we call committed users are what you're committing to Cisco and PTP in this case, that I commit to, you know, spending this much money per month for these committed users. There's also what's called an uncommitted plan. That allows you as an organization, and this is the first of its kind inside Cisco, and this is why I'm very, very excited about this product, is it's the first of its kind that allows you to kind of ratchet up and ratchet down your user commitment. And this is where it's a very dynamic, flexible approach each month to delivering the workloads to your to your end users. And those would be, you know, situations where you might have seasonality. You might have where you've got contract workers that come on from time to time and only need to give out a set of workloads for 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year of the 3-year commitment. I'm just making that up, of course. So the idea behind committed and uncommitted is a big part of this. And we can talk about that more if people have questions around it. From an add-on perspective, so the things that are not included in the bundle, but we have as an add-on for a per user per month price, are things like WebEx Event Center. So the platform that we're on and using today, if you need a named user to be able to start events, right, up to 1,000 people that are moderated, that have panelists, that have Q&A, that have different types of features than Meeting Center provides today, you can add that on an a la carte fashion. We also have the ability to add on WebEx Teams users. So if we are building out uncommitted users to, let's say, 100 people, and you wanted to have a department in UK just use WebEx Teams, and you don't want to necessarily pay for the committed user rate, you can just deliver them a WebEx Teams client, and you would pay a fraction of that. That is something that we haven't had in a long time at Cisco. So again, very excited about that. The last 2 things I'll point out is we have cloud registration for video endpoints. So if you currently own Cisco's video hardware, and that would be things like RoomKits, RoomKit Pluses, RoomKit Minis, any type of room systems like 55-inch, 70-inch, either single or dual platforms, any of those, maybe a DX80 or the new WebEx Desk Pro coming out here and shipping now, finally, any of those products can register to our cloud service as well. They have a per user per month, or in this case, a per endpoint per month registration license on top of the Webex Work Bundle. The last one is the audio options. Everyone wants to know about audio options today because this is where we're seeing a lot of the excess usage our customers are driving towards reducing as they put people in a WFH or a work from home scenario. So as we look to you guys, as our customers, to look at Webex Work Bundle opportunities, we want to make sure that we're fitting the right audio package in the right place, because I don't want to have to come back and explain to my management why customer ABC here is paying for excess usage because we just didn't fit the right product into the right space. So we have options for bridge country callback, which is really call me options. We have options for international. We have options for toll free and the like. So Gary, that's a little bit about the bundle again, maybe a little bit more than you needed, but the add-ons themselves are all available at a per user per month cost on top of it.
Yeah, that's huge. And as I hear you talk about kind of the by consumption model in terms of paying for it, it's, you know, Cisco is kind of betting on, hey, customers are going to use these tools, find out how to drive value into the business on these tools, and ultimately consumption grows without kind of approach of, hey, I'm going to lock you in and force you into a certain amount and hope that you use them. This is like the software shelfware from years and years ago where you closed the deal, somebody never implemented. Now it's like, hey, it's here for you guys to use. And then the more comfortable people get with it, the more they engage, the more business drives, and obviously it's probably better for all of us. So I'm a believer in that, and that's really, I think that's kind of standing behind your technology and believing in the impact that it can make. That's huge. I think that's absolutely huge. I'm going to go to, actually I've got just one quick question that came up that I'm going to bring to you before I forget to bring it to you, Todd, which is, does WebEx Calling have all the functionality to meet the business, like the needs of a business phone system? So is it phone system light, or can it address, basically everything that we think, most normal customers are going to need?
Yeah, it's a good one. And I've been an architect for a long time. So folks like Hong and I are probably like, we tear apart, the requirements and the gathering of all of the use cases just the same way you guys do from a customer point of view. We know that it's not an easy decision to make around telephony systems today, just given the complexities in the industry. Really, the opportunities in cloud is opening up an entirely new framework of an architecture strategy, scalability, quality of service, security, and the likes of that, where you may not have had to worry about that in the past. So to address the question head on, I want to make something very, very clear. And I think most of you may know this, and if you don't, this will be net new news to you. The WebEx Calling platform was actually built and has come from our acquisition of BroadSoft. And for those that have been around the industry for a while, BroadSoft was the collective cloud leader globally across as many continents and countries as you could imagine, delivering cloud calling solutions to their customers in either a direct manner or in an agent manner through partner communities. So we took that acquisition, which took place probably a couple of years ago now, and we deconstructed it, and we reconstructed that platform on top of our WebEx data centers that have been sitting in countries for decades. And we were able to scale out the opportunity for our WebEx Calling framework to even other countries we've never touched before with the BroadSoft platform. So the first thing that you want to know about here is that it comes from a very mature, very prominent back end. So from a scaling, quality of service, and the overall feature development to WebEx Calling is unmatched. It is absolutely unmatched in the industry. That's the first thing that I want to call out. The second thing I want to call out around the WebEx Calling platform is we are now offering multiple ways to connect to that platform. So it's not a scenario that you have to make a decision where it's all in over the top or it's not. So you get to choose now whether that's over the top, which is leveraging internet connections from home or from office, brick and mortar buildings to do that. But you now have ways of integrating PSTN services from service providers. You have ways of doing this with mobile. There's an opportunity for you to get extremely flexible across the globe here in delivering dial tone down to your end users. And the final point I would make out here is it's not just about calling. It's about contact center. It's about integration. It's about 911 services. It's about mobile. It's about desktop. WebEx Calling offers all of that integration today, and we're just getting started. So there is an awful lot of great capabilities already leveraged in the platform today, and we have a tremendous roadmap around taking cloud calling to an entirely new level that, frankly, our competitors today aren't going to touch. They're not going to match it.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. Thanks for sharing that. That was great statements. So you talked about integration. So Ethan, I'm going to come to you and ask a question around the kind of the platform and integration. And I'm a platform guy, so it's like I'm kind of itching to answer this question myself, but I'm not going to. I'm going to tee it up for you. But so what we're talking about, we're talking about conferencing, we're talking about calling, we're talking about the communications and collaboration. So when you look at each of those distinct areas, and you go out in the market, you go, hey, there's Slack doing this stuff with the communication, and then you got Zoom out here and doing this stuff. Want to kind of just get your thoughts as you're working with customers on the value of an organization having all of those components integrated together, and really what that means from a management and a kind of a value back to the organization perspective, versus saying, hey, I'm going to try to go get these independent tools that I see out there in the market. Talk about what you think in terms of the value of that platform.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can sort of stay within the family, it makes it easier. I mean, we have customer service customers that we're talking to all the time that we run into, and they're like, hey, I need a solution to back up my Slack. I need a solution for my phone system. I'm using XYZ for video conferencing, and can you guys manage this for me, because we bought all these tools that are all over the place, and try to pull them together. Not easy, especially when you're a small company. You don't have all those resources to manage all that. So, I think for us, even as PTP, so we, I wouldn't say eat our own dog food, we sip our own champagne, but, we use Webex, we've basically used this Webex bundle over the years as it was Spark Calling and matured through time. So we've, been using it for a while, but, we pretty much run the business on Teams from a collaboration and communication standpoint, obviously using Webex for video, and then, using calling for off-prem conversations, that kind of stuff, or outside to our customers. So, it does make it easier when you're have all those things tied together very tightly and easy to deploy. Very easy for us to manage, one portal basically to deploy and provision users and manage users. But there's everyone's going to be faced with the same challenge. A lot of people use Office 365. Microsoft gives you Microsoft Teams, and there's some calling capabilities. And do I integrate, do I use that and integrate to something else for voice? So, there's a lot of questions out there. So, we spend a lot of time working with our customers trying to figure out what the best options are and what's going to have the best impact from a user productivity standpoint. And, no one wants to be in a situation where they deployed a communication platform or a phone on an end user's desk, and you have end users complaining that it's slowing them down or they're not comfortable using it. So, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what that end user engagement is like with the platform. So, we'll take it case by case, but I think if you have, traditionally you've been disparate, had a bunch of different platforms out there, and now you can sort of get everything that you need at a, per user monthly cost, it's going to have a definite, brings a lot more value to the table than trying to piecemeal together, a monthly cost per user for web conferencing, and then something else for email, and then something else for collaboration. I think it'll be a much more, the conversation will resonate much better with businesses, and especially from an end user experience standpoint, as we show them how they can effectively communicate with one, sort of one package from one management standpoint as well.
Yeah. I mean, so for the audience, I get the opportunity to wear two hats at PTP, marketing and managed services. And my managed services hat that I wear, it's about efficiency and operations, and how effectively and efficiently can we deliver these tools back to the business so that they can do the things that they need to do. And when we're talking about bundled and integrated tools like that, it's it's the ability to kind of single pane of glass, add, delete users, apply policies, manage things, onboard, offboard, things like that tend to have a huge impact in a long period of time in terms of just overall administration management. So completely.
You should have answered that question. You answered it much better than I did.
No, I did not. Never. So kind of in that same vein, and Hong, don't fall asleep on me, because I've got some questions for you coming, but Ethan's answer made me want to come back to Todd with, so we're kind of back to We're talking about some other options in the marketplace. So conferencing in, specific. So I mentioned at the beginning it was Sunday and family lit up a Zoom call to go have this conversation. So, hey, it's working with families, but we're with either, commercial to enterprise businesses that are, dealing with probably different kinds of information and connection. So why do businesses need to consider a more robust platform, and just what are your thoughts in terms of how WebEx is different from an enterprise play versus a solution like Zoom?
Was that to me or Todd?
That was for Todd, sorry. Did I not make that clear?
I'm sorry, I heard Hong's name in the beginning there, and I thought that was for him.
I'm sorry, that's my bad.
Gary, can you repeat that last piece?
Yeah, sure. So we were just kind of chatting a little bit about some of the individual tools, like the platform play versus individual tools, and we're talking a little bit about like, hey, you've got this Zoom tool that's gotten so much popularity on TV and socially out there from use in schools and families and things like that. But we're in business and things are a little bit different with us. And what are just kind of your thoughts in terms of why businesses should be looking at a more robust platform for their conferencing and communications?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. This is a tough one. And the reason I say that it's tough, and it's probably just because being in the industry, especially in the collaboration industry, as long as I have, I always want to make sure that our customers always know they have a choice. That's first and foremost. They have choices. And without choices, honestly, there's no feature development. There's no abilities to bring out some of the latest and greatest features that allow our customers to grow and scale at the levels they need to. So competition, especially from Zoom, from Google, from RingCentral, depending on take the flavor, whatever flavor you want, is very, very healthy. And it's very healthy for Cisco. And make no mistake, we are not the cheapest guy on the block, that's for sure, and never have been, and we've never claimed to be. However, we are working day and night to make sure that the platforms in which we have, traditionally taken care of globally at a 4 or 5 billion minutes per month clip can now scale and still provide the performance and the security that our customers deserve in the 25 billion minutes per month clip. And what I want you to leave with today, if anything, is, and I'm just going to give you some stories because I think this is the best way to connect with you guys, because I don't know you and you don't know me very well. But what I do know is that there's one common thread across customers, and that is secure. It has to be secure. And no matter if you're sitting at home on a Zoom call with your family, or whether you're in work mode, leveraging a broad, a forecasting position with your leader on a call, the conversation must be completely secure. Now, we've seen everything in the news, from WebEx, having quality issues, to Zoom having security issues, to organizations that are, demonstrating, to their customers or their end users to use one technology over another. It's very confusing times right now. This is what I would leave you with. Cisco's core ability to drive a secure collaboration discussion, not just an architectural strategy, but an overall conversation that partners like PTP can take to you and deliver on, is unmatched, right? We have built out the largest. Now here's one for you. So prior to COVID, Cisco's WebEx platform was the second largest collaboration platform in the world. The first, believe it or not, was Salesforce. Well, that is completely flipped. Cisco's collaboration platform is the first and the largest collaboration platform in the world. We host 25 billion minutes a month on this platform, And that is, and we have grown. And for those that care, we had one WebEx platform before COVID. We have built 2.5 more WebExes on top of the one since February 1st. Our own executive leaders that manage the collaboration business have rolled up their sleeves, sat down in a desk, and are coding at the same rate their developers are. So we have a full-on effort, coast to coast, continent to continent, on building out the most secure, the most widespread collaboration platform ever known, ever seen. And that has been successfully done by Shri and the organization at the collaboration leadership down. So that's first and foremost, is making sure we're leveraging security in everything we do. The next thing that comes to mind when I think about my customers, when I think about all of my customers that I take care of and help from coast to coast, is around feature velocity, right? We need to make sure, even though we're using security as the baseline to delivering the next generation conferencing platforms to all of our customers, we can't forget that you guys require certain features to do your job. And Cisco historically has been a little bit slower at the velocity of features to your doorstep. Well, that's over, right? We have a new commitment inside our organization that is looking at not only the consumer world, but also the business world, and mashing them up to deliver a brand new feature set to our customers. I am happy to announce today, I wasn't even prepared to talk about this today, but I'm happy to announce to you all today that within the next couple of months, I have it on an alpha system right now, the new WebEx skin that will be coming to your doorstep. And that will be on desktops, both Windows and Mac. That will be on mobile devices, both Android and iPhones. And that will be, as far as a user experience goes, completely relifted, facelifted, and rebuilt to support the next generation icons, feature capabilities, grid views, everything that goes into conferencing right at your doorsteps, most likely in the late summer timeframe. So it's number one, security. It's number two, feature and integrations. And then when you layer those on top of the largest collaboration platform that scales coast to coast, continent to continent, it's unmatched. So those are my initial thoughts to that, Gary.
I'm fired up. Where do I buy? Oh, wait, I already use it.
Probably use it already, right?
Awesome.
The numbers, Gary, the numbers are just staggering. That's what's so unbelievable about what we're seeing right now happen all around us. And
sorry, you said the 25 billion. I went back to look at the slide from the data I just got. It's like, sure enough, it was like 25. I mean, that is incredible. 25 billion minutes in a month.
Yeah. So in normally the run rate pre-COVID was right around 4.5 to 5.5. It just depends on the seasonality of the Decembers of the world where the holiday season kicks in. If you look at February, that number shot up towards the end going into March. I think right around 10 to 13 billion. We saw that number grow significantly in March. And then by the time April was done, and this is just a little nugget, at the end of April, which by the way, we shut down at 12 p.m., well, in this case, 12 a.m., going into the next calendar day of the West Coast on April 30th. So here we are watching the ticker, all of us globally, and we did just shy of 25 billion. It was 24.92 billion minutes.
Man,
it's just unreal.
Yeah, a few more guys on the phone at the same time. We could have got that 25.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yep.
Hey, Todd, it's Ethan. Just a quick question. What do you think, post-COVID, whatever that looks like, would the, with the WebEx infrastructure in January, do you think support what it's going to look like going forward? I mean, I'm assuming that there'll still be a increase in the, use of the WebEx infrastructure. What does Cisco see as, July, August, September, what's that going to trend like from a usage standpoint?
Yeah, it's a good question. And if we had to call a crystal ball here, we probably wouldn't be here today, right? So, but what I would suggest is this. The number I gave you just earlier, which is 2.5 more WebEx platforms were laid on top of one. So we're basically 3.5 WebEx deep right now. And when you start thinking about the magnitude of what originally pre-COVID that WebEx platform looked like initially, just imagine what it looks like today. And you're talking about, you know, next generation compute, next generation power, next generation processing, next generation features. And the data centers, in order to accomplish this, were literally stood up in days. I don't know how many people care about this metric. We had 16 data centers, major data centers worldwide prior to COVID. Within 1 month, 3 new data centers were built up, completely renovated and completely outfitted with the next WebEx platform. One of them happened to be in New York City. And not many people saw that in the news. It was dropped right into New York City. An entirely new platform was built out. And the idea was, as we scaled the platform, we needed to deliver the same, if not better, performance and results to our end customers to do that. And the only way we knew how to do it was to take a big pile of cash executed by Chuck himself and go do what we needed to do for our customers. That's the only reason this happened. It's all about our customers. It's all about what we can do to perform, not just within COVID months, but post-COVID months. So guys, whether we love this or not, this is completely transforming the way that business will be conducted from now on. And whether you think you're going back into your offices or not, and for that, that's really up to your own individual leadership. The idea behind business and travel is completely transformed forever. Well, the only way we know how to do that, Ethan, is we still need to plan for the overall execution of security and scale. We believe strongly that we will build one more WebEx on top of the 3.5 by this summer's end in order to prepare ourselves for the onslaught of cloud applications. Because now what we're finding, and I think this will resonate to everyone here on this call, is that it's not about, you know, operating in data centers. It's not about operating in call control platforms that are sitting on your premise. It's about what would I call cloud first, mobile ready. And when you start thinking about cloud first, mobile ready, our entire customer base will be moving as many workloads as possible to the cloud to help support the next pandemic that potentially affects this world someday, gosh forbid. So that's what it's really all about. So from a usage perspective, we do not see a decline anytime soon. In fact, we are on pace to break 30 billion minutes this month. We are almost approaching 15 already, and we're pretty excited about it.
No, Gary's on mute.
How did that happen? Yes. I was going to say, if you only got $1 a minute for that 30 billion, we'd be in good for the stock price. So we're getting a little close to the end of the hour, and obviously want to be considerate of people's time. But Hung, I did want to come to you from a consulting and implementation standpoint. So we've got prospects and customers and people listen to this that are considering a platform and migration to the platform. Can you talk a little bit about considerations for our end user customers when looking either at a solution or at a partner like us for deployment? Like, what kind of things do they need to be asking us? What kind of things are some of the biggest considerations for them from a kind of decision and how to move forward standpoint?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I mean, I think a few things come to mind, and, just for looking at any solutions, not just, WebEx work, but, they got to analyze their needs, what the issues and determine how the new solution, can solve the pain points, right? Don't get distracted by the shiny new objects or really think about how it can solve those pain points. Another thing they should consider is, does it improve their process, their overall business process, right? Is it going to make things easier, or is it going to complicate things more, right? I think the last thing is, are you able to get all the features you want, but not break the bank, right? Especially in these times, being mindful of expenses is kind of important, where, people are trying to cut costs and stuff like that. And, if, and looking for a partner for deployment, that kind of around those same points, are they listening to you? Are they understanding your pain points? Do they, from a deployment standpoint, do they have a detailed plan and timeline that works with your schedule, right? Not just some general bullets, turn it up and it'll work. Do they have the expertise to kind of show you and train you on how the technology, how to leverage the value of the new technology?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's, it's so much different than traditional. It's not infrastructure anymore, right? This is not about swapping a router in a data center or upgrading a server. These are about workflow solutions that touch every user and can enable them to do their functions in their organizations, obviously better, faster, more efficiently. So that's the understanding that workflow, those kind of things. I completely agree with you. So thanks for sharing that. I think instead of going back to any questions, I'll just ask either of you if you've got any final thoughts or comments that you'd like to leave our audience with. Maybe anything that I haven't asked that you wanted to make sure that you had the ability to share, or just any parting thoughts would be great to any of you.
I think for us, it's, I think Todd mentioned it briefly before, but the optionality that you have as a customer for endpoints, like I'm talking on DX80 here, but you have WebEx boards, you have the new Cisco handsets, but you have your iPhone or your Android device. You can pick from a customer standpoint. You don't have to. It's not the old scenario where you had to go out and invest in a boatload of putting a phone on every desk type of thing. You have the option to use what the communication device is that works best with the customer, and you get all that same functionality. Whether you're in a room system or you're on your iPhone, you can act work wherever you are. So I think that's the one of the big powerful features that this bundle brings to the table, where you get all of that no matter what device you're on and no matter where you're working. So the old sort of days of being strung to your desk are definitely broken. If it wasn't broken before, it's broken now. But by leveraging the work bundle, you can keep those employees keep their productivity up and keep them connected no matter where they are, no matter what device they're on. So for us, it's sort of the we've been touting, or at least maybe I've been out there tilting against windmills for a long time, trying to say that doing cloud voice is the way to go. And for years and years, there's been mixed results on it. But now I think it's everyone agrees this is sort of the way to go, and the infrastructure is there to support it, and the technology supports it. So I think it's just going to accelerate the usage and the adoption as we go forward.
I just come over the top with that, and that's well said. And I'd come over with one thing to the customers. It's great to talk about technology, and it's great to talk about the scale and the overall security of a platform. But what it really comes down to our customers, especially in the sub 1,000 space, is about manageability. And I'm a big, listen, I've been around Cisco long enough to know that historically Cisco's management products have been a bear to manage. And we had everything from communications manager technology to manage, to Unity connection was a different interface, to telephony sometimes had 4 or 5 or 6 different entry points. I get that, more so than most. And I've been selling it for a very, very long time. I'd say recently over the last couple of years, and now more so now with this Webex Work Bundle, we are building everything into a single pane of glass. And for those that have not seen the latest skin that will be released here in the next couple of weeks around the Webex Control Hub, this is giving you a single pane to manage every single workload that you need inside your business to do your jobs. And when you can build together Webex Calling, Webex Meetings, Webex Teams, Webex devices, and all of the analytics and security posture that goes with that in one single pane of glass, that's something that Cisco has never created. And frankly, it's never been done better by our teams. So, for you some of you that are left here scratching your head saying, well, this is all great, and I haven't seen any pricing from Todd yet. Well, that's okay. We're going to get that to you guys through PTP. But what's more important is have Hong come in and just demonstrate to you the latest of the WebEx Control Hub and the feature sets, because that's what's going to truly drive the transformation for you as IT administrators, as end user experiences, et cetera. And that's all kind of bundled in the middle of that.
Fantastic. Any parting shots from you, Hung, or you talked out?
I'm fighting the 10% alcohol on this cookies and cream. No, but I think one thing, just from a security and feature with the bundle, definitely take advantage of the Pro Pack that comes with the Webex Work bundle. Is it gives you extra security, and guess what? It's never too much security these days.
Awesome. Good stuff. It's an exciting time. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for the users. And Todd, like you said, I mean, sometimes competition like that is healthy and brings out the best in organizations. And it's certainly, with Cisco and having the resources to be able to double down and say, this is where we think businesses are going and workflow is going to change. It's not going to be people living in email anymore. We're going to live in different functions. It's super exciting. So I do want to thank you for taking some time out of your afternoon. I can only imagine how busy things are for you right now, but we appreciate you spending an hour with us and chatting with us about the bundle. Ethan, Hung, thank you guys for answering the questions as well. It's a great opportunity, and hope everybody on the other side of it enjoyed it, and we'll have this posted on the website for future consumption as we go forward. So hope you guys have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Hong.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah.